Good morning, everyone. While we're waiting for everyone to get in and get settled, now's a great time to grab anything you need to get comfortable. Maybe it's a glass of water or a hot cup of tea or coffee. Maybe it's iced tea. Also, if you have items at home and you would like to smudge with me, it's a good time to grab those items too. As we begin to ignite the healing within. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Teresa. For those of you who don't have smudge at home, that's okay. I'm going to send healing energy your way. It's another day, everyone. We can start over. We can start again. We can renew. It's a different moon today and a new sunrise. Aloha kakahiaka. Good morning. My name is Malia, and I'm a community healer at the HIR Wellness Institute. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on the mental health and wellness of our relatives of Turtle Island, as well as other Indigenous and underserved communities, and also victims of crime. You can join me here every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. We will always breathe, stretch, explore ways of integrating health, self-care, and wellness into our daily lives. We will always honor our cultural traditions, our ancestry, our strength, and our resilience. So thank you so much for joining me this morning, everyone. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to take a moment to recognize our HIR Wellness team member who is here with us, as always, Monday through Fridays, our Community Engagement and Indigenous Affairs Director, Jamie Kellycott, and also our occupational therapist, Claudia Meyer-Smith. Good morning to you both. Pleasure as always. I will always have gratitude to start the morning with you. And the same goes to all of our relatives out there. Names that I'm seeing this morning are Teresa and Dominique. Good morning to you. And let's see if I'm seeing anyone else. I know there's other people out there. There's other relatives who are watching. And even though I didn't say your name, it's just because I don't see it pop up. I really don't know why I don't, but I know you're out there. And I want to say welcome. This is a safe place for you to be. I'm so happy that you're here. You can comment. You can ask questions. You can share your own insight or cultural customs or traditions. We never know who's out there and watching. It might be just what it is that you say or ask that one of our relatives needs to hear. So thank you all for joining us. For those of you new to this video, all you have to do to comment is like and follow the page. And we do that to avoid hackers and make it safe for everyone. We don't like spam. Keep the spam out. I want to check in with all of our relatives and see how you're doing today. How are you doing, everyone? If you like, you can comment in the comment box and I'll share. We can always respond back. This is an open conversation, everyone. This isn't my video, this is our video. This is our time to practice community-activated medicine. This was a term that was coined and developed by our founder and CEO, Leah Denny. Community-activated medicine really means that the people are the medicine. Sometimes ways of healing we think of more traditionally as proper nutrition, talking to a counselor, getting some exercise. But sometimes self-care and wellness, it can look different than we often think about. And community-activated medicine is one of those ways. The people are the medicine, and that means right here, right now, we are practicing ways of healing together. And this really is a humanistic way to heal, right? Particularly as Indigenous people, we're brought up in this circular society, right? In a way that honors others around us. And as a Native Hawaiian woman, we were brought up that everyone is ohana, just like everyone out here, we're all relatives, regardless of what part of the land we come from, regardless of our geographical location or the color of our skin, we are all related. Everyone is ohana and family. Maybe they're your sister, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, your grandma, your grandpa, whoever they are, we're here for each other. Terrell, good morning. Wonderful to see you too. And also, Sherry, good morning. She says it's an awesome day. I wish everyone to have one too. I want to say that my partner, Greg, we've been together for about 8 years now, and Sherry is Greg's mom. So she's like my pseudo mama. And it is her birthday today. So happy birthday, Sherry. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. When we talk about community-activated medicine, as in the people being the medicine, that also means that you and I and you and all of our relatives here, we have within our own hearts, minds, and spirits, in our own bodies, the ability to do our own part of our healing. We have it right here, right here. So let's explore those moments of healing and self-care right now. I'm starting my morning. One of my favorite practices, rituals of self-care, is a hot cup of tea, and it has been quite a few days since I've had a hot cup of tea. I've been night owling it up, going to bed late, sleeping in late, so I've been sacrificing my tea for it, but I knew the sleep was worth it. Today, I am drinking a tea bag. Normally, I do my loose teas. This is from the brand Stash. Let me see if here it is. Strawberry pomegranate. And I'll talk a little bit about this tea. It's too hot for me to drink just yet, so I won't be drinking it, probably until after the video. But this tea has a few ingredients that I want to touch upon, and then we'll get into our deep breathing and our stretching. The ingredients in this tea are rooibos, rose hips, hibiscus, raspberry leaves, and natural pomegranate flavor, natural strawberry flavor, and citric acid. So I want to mention that every one of these ingredients that I read have an excellent amount of vitamin C in them. And vitamin C is very important for our body functions. It's really, really good for the skin. It also helps with immunity. So if you're, vitamin C, if you start to feel that cold or sickness coming on, the first thing you're told to do, right, is vitamin C. Take a vitamin C packet. Drink orange juice, that kind of thing. So vitamin C, real good for the skin, really good for the body functions, all of them, by the way, and really, really good to help with immunity. rooibos tea. That's the first ingredient here, and I want to talk a little bit more about rooibos tea. Rooibos tea is actually, that's like the Dutch word for red tea, but it actually comes from Africa. It's rooibos is red bush. It is non-caffeinated, which is excellent for someone like me who is very sensitive to caffeine. And according to the Medical News Journal today, medicalnewstoday.com, I just quickly searched the benefits of rooibos tea, and there's 7 of them. The first I already covered, that it's caffeine free, but it's also low in tannins. Um, and that's a good thing in the fact that sometimes tannins can interfere with the absorption of iron. Okay, now, a lot of us, iron is really important for us, especially women, as we have our moons, and just really for our bones. There's a lot of reasons iron is important. So because it has low tannins in it. It won't affect your iron absorption, which actually green tea, um, some some teas like black tea and green tea and red wine do have a lot of tannins. Now, tannins can be good for you. They have positive benefits as well. So my point here in saying this is, do talk to a medical professional, your doctor or your physician, even when you're taking natural medicines, even when you're taking anything that comes from the earth, because truly these can be potent, potent things, and that's why Mother Earth gave them to us, because we need these things. But always talk to a doctor, particularly if you're taking medications. Um, Rooibos tea is very rich in antioxidants, um, and they're important for the body because they actually stop free radicals, which are things in the body that actually damage cells. There are studies that show that rooibos tea can actually improve the antioxidant status of the liver. And our liver, right, that's like a body filter, so that's so important. Also, very, very good for heart health, diabetic management, weight management, and rooibos tea is really, really good for the skin. There's research here, according to this article, that found that a rooibos tea mixture was most effective at reducing wrinkles. And the drink, though, not necessarily, they're saying, but on your skin. Other benefits, there's all sorts of things from digestive problems to insomnia to increasing appetite. So please, if you are interested in rooibos tea, do your research, see what you find. If, as I always say, we all have different body chemistries, different genetic makeup, right? So what's good for some people isn't always good for others. But give it a try. I personally love rooibos tea, the way it makes me feel. The flavor I don't love as much. Some people really enjoy the flavor. I don't, but I don't dislike it. I just don't. It's not my favorite. Let me go and see if this tea is ready to go. This tea has a really, really warm and mellow, but also it has like that bright flavor of fruit and berries. Let's go to our breathing and our stretching. And again, relatives, deep breathing. There's so many different ways to deep breathe. There's lots of different exercises. There's lots of different ways to. But the importance of deep breathing comes down to this. It really does help to slow down the heart rate. And it slows down the mind if you are anxious, nervous, angry, sad. If your mind is just in that rabbit hole of worry and if particularly if you're worrying about things that are out of your control, deep breathing is a really, really good way to bring ourselves back to our center and help to ease any of that discomfort that we may be feeling mentally, emotionally, even physically. So let's start by breathing in through our nose for a count of 4, and we're going to exhale through the mouth for a count of 6. But my foot's falling asleep here. Let me readjust. Okay, so but this time when we deep breathe, we can try and exercise. If you like, we have our hand out, and as we inhale through the nose, we're going to go up and trace the finger. And we're going to hold it here for a second, and then we exhale as we go down. So we're going to go inhale up and exhale down. If you're doing this in a place where maybe you're like having an uncomfortable conversation, or, you know, like let's say you're like at work and you're in a meeting or something, you can be real subtle about it. Believe me, I've tried this before. Or even if you're having a difficult conversation, you can be real subtle that no one's really going to see that you're doing. So you can just put your hand in your lap just like this. All right, relatives, you can sit, lay, or recline however you feel comfortable, and you can close your eyes if you like. We're going to go ahead and breathe in through the nose. Deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale going up and exhale. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale. Deep inhale and exhale. Let's continue to breathe. As we deep breathe now, we can stretch. All these stretches that I'm calling out and leading us through, they're just guidelines. You can stretch however you want. Just listen to your body and feel what your body needs. I always start with the shoulders to work out any of that anxiety. We hold anxiety and stress in our shoulders very often. We're going to take a deep inhale as we reach out. Oh, and exhale. That stretch induces yawns, relatives. It's okay. Stretching out the shoulder and upper back here. Deep inhale. Reaching out. It's all right. Let that yawn out. I'm going to take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale as we reach out in front of us, pushing down gently on those fingertips, stretching that forearm. If you don't like that, you can just roll your wrist right here, or you can choose another stretch. Clasping those fingers, inhale, pushing the palms out, up, and exhale as we reach those palms towards the ceiling, gently bending from side to side. You might feel or hear a little crack or a pop in that back. That's okay as long as it feels okay. Go ahead and push down with the opposite hand to the elbow, stretching the tricep. Deep inhale. And exhale, taking it down to the other side. Let's finish out with some neck stretches. Again, looking side to center, side to center. You might hear some cracks. It's all right. As long as it feels okay. We're just working out some of that, whatever's in there, whatever you're holding on to. Double tapping that ear towards the shoulder. And then rolling that chin from shoulder to shoulder, keeping it in the front. And looking down gently towards our lap. And up towards the ceiling. Down towards our lap. And up. How'd that feel, relatives? Hopefully that helps quell whatever anxieties, if you are having any this morning, or any stress. Hopefully that did a little something for you. Do that throughout the day. Whenever you're like, oh, if you're just feeling that way, go ahead and take those breaths. Terrell says, thank you so much for sharing the health benefits of the teas. I used teas as medicine when I had a complicated medical condition to heal from. This plus Western medicine, with my doctor's knowledge, I truly believe I would not have healed as well with just prescribed medicine alone. It takes time, but healing does. Thank you, Terrell, for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Terrell. And yeah, it's interesting because, you know, as modern people, as Westernized people, we have two ways that we can approach our wellness, right? We have our natural and our indigenous ways, our homeopathic ways, our cultural teachings, and then we also have the Western world, which has really specific like chemical mixes of medicines, right? So the beauty of it is we can choose what works for us. We can walk the path of both of those trajectories and both of those worlds and choose what helps us. So thank you for sharing, Terrell. Claudia says, I really like rooibos tea. Also heard it is hydrating. Yes, it is very hydrating. I've experienced that things that are good for you actually call to you. Beautiful, Claudia. So if someone tells me something is good and I try it and my body doesn't feel interested, I quickly stop using it. But something that's helpful, I'll crave to have. This is so, thank you, Claudia, for sharing this. And I love that you did. When yesterday at 4 o'clock, if you're interested, I did a video called Culture and Aina. It's wellness and self-care through healing through the land and through our culture. So if you're interested, check out the 4 p.m. video from yesterday. And we did talk about this, that in a way, in an aspect that what you need, you can actually ask the creator, you can ask Mother Earth, you can just put it out into the universe for what it is that you need. And particularly when we're harvesting our plant relatives, our plant medicines, really just to when you're harvesting or you're picking vegetables or whatever, you set out your intention before you do it. Ask for permission by the creator. Ask for permission and then speak to it. Speak to it here or speak to it with your voice. And literally ask what it is that you want this beautiful medicinal gift of the earth or our plant relatives to do for us. And that is a cultural practice that I've been taught as a native Hawaiian. And also I found that our Turtle Island relatives practice this too. So just very interesting. And that may be a way that helps you. Even if you're about to have your tea, if you're about to eat dinner, go ahead and allow yourself those moments to recognize and honor what parts of the world your salt came from. Where did your food come from? Where did your tea come from? And take a moment to practice gratitude as you consume these things. It's just another aspect and dimension to self-care that can be really helpful. I want to see if my tea is ready. Talking about this rooibos. No, can't do it. I just feel the heat there. I feel like it's going to scald, so I'm going to wait. And while I'm waiting, let's go ahead and talk about the lunar phase that we're in according to my ancestral traditions, which is the native Hawaiian lunar calendar. We call that Ke Ala o Kamahina, the pathway to the moon. And relatives, if you have any insight about the moons from your teachings, your culture, your ancestry, feel free to share it, because this isn't about my teachings being right. There is no right, there is no wrong. This is about what's resonating in your heart, in your spirit, in your mind, in your body. And just like the foods we eat and the medicines we take, this is for you to decide, and this is for you to feel. I share with you humbly just to let you know, if you're looking for something, if you want to try to integrate the Hawaiian lunar phases into your daily life, for me, I find it not only fascinating, but also very helpful for how I conduct my day in a lot of ways. The lunar phase that we're in today is very intriguing to me. It is called Mauli, M-A-U-L-I, Mauli. And this is the second to last day of our lunar phase. There's 30 moons in the Hawaiian lunar calendar. That means there's about a moon for every day of the month. And we are in the second to the last moon, which means tomorrow is the end of the month according to Hawaiians. So even though we're in the middle of the month, as a Western Gregorian calendar, Hawaiians, a new month actually starts on this weekend. Oh, excuse me. So let's talk a little bit about that moon Maui. So when you look up in the sky right now, The moon looks almost black tonight. You'll see a tiny, not quite a hairline sliver, but a little bit thicker than that. And what that means is a couple of things. And I'll tell you what Maoli means as well too. But Maoli literally in the Hawaiian language means the ghost or a spirit. It can also mean fainting or the last breath moon. It's interesting, the last breath moon. And when you look, that is the last breath that's left of the moon before we get to the cut off moon. This ghost or spirit moon is dark. It makes outside appear particularly dark, but also what it means for fishing and planting is a few things. For fishing, it's good. Oddly enough, the fishing is good today. But as far as gardening, it's a good day to plant dark green vegetation. Those dark green leafy vegetables, right? I think of kale, I think of spinach. Um, those are the ones that come to mind. Swiss chard, dark green leafy vegetables. It's a perfect time to plant those. Also, I wanted to talk about those people who aren't fishermen, or if you're not gardeners, what can we do in the moon of Maoli tonight? Tonight, pay attention. If you're open to this, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the signs around you in nature. Because this is a time where we as Hawaiians believe that the veil is very thin between the living world and the other side, right? And so as that veil is quite thin, you may find that your ancestors or your loved ones who have crossed to the other side before you are able to communicate with you more clearly than on other days. The ghost moon, right? The spirit moon. Also, pay attention to any sort of messages when you're deep breathing or when you're connecting to nature or anything that allows you to connect to spirit. What is coming intuitively to your mind? What is coming intuitively to your heart? Listen to the spirit. And if that's a message, if that's a feeling, if that's something that's evoked within you and you want to honor that, today is the day to do so. We can pay attention to maybe a particular wind or a certain breeze, maybe the fragrance of a flower or a bird that you might see, a butterfly. Hawaiians, we call this ho ailona, or signs in nature, that allow us to understand where you might have a moment of connection between you and something else. Ho ailona, those are the signs that we can pay attention to today and always. Also, relatives, I'm going to try and sip that tea again. We have our books today that our occupational therapist, Claudia, has shared with us. Blow on this tea a little bit. I'm scared. I can feel the heat, but I want to drink the tea so bad. Nope, can't do it. Still not doing it. If I had an ice cube. Okay, so we'll start with this book today, Native Wisdom for White Minds by Ann Wilson Schaaf. The title of this excerpt is called Respect. Ooh, there's a lot with that word, right? We need to have respect and love for all things and for all people. This is a quote by Don Coyes, a Mohican writer and consultant, an American Indian elder. To live in peace requires a level of respect that is almost foreign to us in this modern world. We want to make peace happen. I know I do too. I always want to make it happen, right? We look with horror at the wars raging among our brothers and sisters around the globe, and we feel helpless in the face of the immensity of the task. Still, the only thing we can really change is ourselves. Respect begins at home. Do I respect my body? Do I give it what it needs and not what it doesn't need? Do I respect the rights and boundaries of others and treat our differences with respect? Do I respect the Creator's planet and try to walk softly on it, taking only what I need and respecting its ways? Do I try to live in harmony with my Creator and do the work that the Creator has for me? Respect is the key to living. So, relatives, I ask you right now if you care to share. What is respect to you? How can we put respect into our lives today, right now, this afternoon, tonight, tomorrow, this weekend? That can be respect in any way: self-respect, mutual respect, environmental respect, respect to the body, mind, any respect. Feel free to share how you can do that today. Jamie, our Community Engagement and Indigenous Affairs Director, says, "This morning on my ride into work, I was driving through the village I live in. I always pray as I'm driving, and I had just prayed asking my ancestors to walk with me today and thanking them for their prayers for me. Just as I finished that prayer, a deer ran across the road. I knew right then and there that my ancestors were letting me know that they are with me." That is so beautiful, Jamie. Thank you for sharing. And as Hawaiians, we call that ho'ailona. 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 That is so awesome. So Jamie had that today already. It's amazing how intuitively sometimes, the occurrences that we have, the words that we speak, they all have this interconnectedness. And when that happens, I pay attention to it, because sometimes that's spirit speaking to us in my beliefs. And sometimes that's our ancestors speaking to us. And also in my ancestral beliefs and traditions. When the whole Ailona happened, when those messages happen through a deer running across the street, or a cardinal in the trees, or the fragrance of a flower that maybe a loved one that's passed on to the other side, you smell that fragrance of that flower. Those whole Ailona, they're these beautiful reminders and gifts from the Creator. The same as all this intersectionality of these signs and words that you hear throughout the day, when they make sense and when they're speaking to you, pay attention and take a moment to honor that. I find a lot of times here when I read from these passages of the books, there's a lot of connection for me, and I hope that is that way for you too, relatives. All right, so we have, I lost my page. Here we go. The excerpt from our book today of Melody Beattie's Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditations on the Path to Freeing Your Soul. Put yourself on equal ground. I sat in the booth across from my friend. I was fiddling with an empty soda can in front of me while we discussed the subject of power. Suddenly, he snatched the can away from me and began tossing it in the air, catching it, then tossing it up again. "See how easy it is to take your power," he said. "See how you just gave it to me?" I watched amazed at how quickly I had relinquished my power, how vulnerable I was to the world around me. Then my friend smiled and stopped juggling the can. "Relax," he said. "It's an illusion. That's not really your power. It's an empty can. And it's an illusion that anyone can take your power away from you. Each of us has an unlimited supply of power available. The power to think, the power to feel, the power to take care of ourselves, the power to open our hearts to love, to be gentle, honest, and kind. We each have the power to be clear and to trust and follow the guidance of our own hearts. Part of our journey to freedom, an important part, is equalizing our relationships. For many years, we may have believed the scales were tipped for one way or the other in our work and our love relationships. We may have believed that others knew a great deal more than we did, or we may have begun to believe that we had all the answers. But no one has our power. That's an illusion. So much, though, that sometimes the person we believe is more powerful than us may be looking at us thinking we're the ones pulling the strings. Remember, if you give up your power or decide that something has power over you, you'll begin grousing, sabotaging, and doing sneaky little things to equalize that relationship. To feel like you have your power, there's another way, a better way, one that will help you heal. Put yourself on equal ground. I needed to hear that today so much. Claudia says, I think tuition teaches us and leads us to walk a path of respect. When to or not to speak, when a gentle hand on a shoulder, and when to keep space. So much is intuition, being respectful in the presence of others. Thank you, Claudia. You know, one thing I've noticed as I practice with all of you, all of our relatives together, self-care every day, like consciously and deliberately practice moments of self-care in my daily life, practicing moments of wellness, my intuition has actually grown stronger. And I think this is my personal opinion on this, my insight is that because when we practice moments of self-care and wellness, we actually feed our spirit. And when we feed our spirit becomes stronger. It becomes brighter. And that intuition is our spirit, is our soul speaking to us. Aloha, Sharon. Sharon asks, Malia, I love that excerpt. What is the name of that book again? Is it, Sharon, are you referring to the one about respect and equality, equal? That if that's the one, it's Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditations on the Path to Freeing Your Soul by Melody Beatty. Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty. Native Wisdom for the White Minds was talking about, well, this one was about respect. And this one was talking about relationships. This was the one that was talking about respect, like respecting the land, respecting each other. They're very intertwined. So Native Wisdom for White Minds is the Ann Wilson Schaaf one. Jamie has a lovely comment about Barb, aloha Barb. Barb, think about you all the time. So glad to see you. Barb, stay safe and stay strong. Much love to you, Barb. Aloha nui. Jamie says respect is one of the grandfather teachings. In Ojibwe, it is, oh, Jamie, I love all these beautiful native languages, but I get so ashamed to say them because I don't know how to say it. In Ojibwe, it is Minadendamoen. Minadendamoen? So sorry. It means to honor all creation is to have respect. And that includes us too, relatives. We need to honor ourselves. Honor ourselves. I was just watching a TEDx video. If you ever watch TEDx on YouTube, they're awesome. TEDx, everyone. They always have very uplifting, insightful presentations. And it was really interesting because there was a woman who was speaking about positive self-talk, and human beings on average say something about 70,000 negative thoughts a day to themselves. 70,000 negative thoughts a day about themselves on average. Let's go ahead and practice radical compassion for ourselves, radical love for ourselves. Accept who we are. And today, take a moment. Before we go, right now, if you want to take that moment, share with us right here in the comment section something that you love about yourself, something positive about yourself. It doesn't have to be a career thing. It can be if you want it to, but that ultimately isn't what our spirit needs to be nourished and fulfilled. Something that you love about yourself. It can be career, it doesn't have to. It can be a goal you've accomplished, but it can be something also in your heart. Who are you? I was pondering this yesterday when I went for a walk, and I intentionally went for a walk without a Fitbit. Normally I have my Fitbit. Honestly, I lost my Fitbit, so I don't know. It's probably under my bed somewhere. I haven't had it for like a week. And I left my cell phone at home. And it felt so freeing for me to walk that way with just my body and my clothing. And when I was walking, I was listening to my spirit, and I was like, who are you? If I took away what I look like, if I took away my money, if I took away, not that I have a ton of money, but if I took away money, if I took away my accomplishments, who am I? And the answer to me was, I'm a spirit, I'm a soul who wants love, and I'm a soul who wants to give love. Barb says spontaneous. Barb, I have so many words that I feel that you are that makes you beautiful. But thank you for sharing. Spontaneous. So who I am is I am loving. I am peaceful. But I'm a peaceful warrior. Who are you? And you don't have to comment, but ask yourself today, who are you that makes you beautiful? What are you? What is your spirit? Who is your spirit? What makes you you? Terrell says the question going through my head is, do I show more respect for others than I do for myself? Self-respect and changing the messages in my head. Good reflections this morning. Terrell, amazing questions. These are pivotal questions, right? That's a huge question because it can change the trajectory of the actions of our next step. And I would struggle with that question too sometimes in relationships. And Terrell, I think, and this is important, I promise you I'm not preaching, because I humbly am asking myself the same question. I think for me the answer is, we do not have to show respect to ourselves at the expense of others. I think of it, there's a poster in our All Nations room here where to light a candle, it only takes one flame. We do not have to put out a flame to light another flame. One candle can light 1,000 candles, not at the expense of that candle, right? It will not burn any less longer. It will not burn any less brighter. So in my mind, respect for ourselves and for others are interdependent. That's a difficult thing to navigate with relationships, right? Judy says that she's at peace. That's one thing about her spirit and that she loves about herself. Aw, Judy. Thank you for sharing. Jamie says, beautiful self-reflection, Malia. That inspires us to do a little self-reflection for ourselves. Thank you, Jamie. Claudia says, we are hardwired for negative, and something like what we do here is holding space and growing the peace exercises and strengthens that positive, caring voice. It's tied to our need for survival, and we need to tame it into feeling safe. Let's change those thinking. 70,000 negative thoughts. Put one in there right now. You don't have to share. Put in some loving thoughts because we're going to change that. We'll be conscious of it every day, right? All day if we can. But I'll use these mornings to change that. We can help change that for ourselves. Jamie says you guys are going to love today's Elders Meditation. Yes, Jamie, please bring it on. Elders Meditation of the Day, July 17th. My friends, how desperately do we need to be loved and to love? Oof. Oh, my great Creator, help me this day to love myself. I can't give away anything that I don't have myself. If I am love to others, then I must love myself. If I am to forgive others, then I am to forgive myself. If I am to accept others as they are, then I need to accept myself as I am. If I am to not judge others, then I need to lighten up on myself. Let me experience this power of love. My Creator, today I will love myself so I can love my neighbor. I will look at each person today and see your light within them. If I do this, I will hold my brothers and sisters without guilt. These meditations are copyright of Koya's Publishing and can also be found in the book Meditations with Native American Elders, The Four Seasons at koyaspublishing.com. Barb says, seeking peace and harmony, love and understanding. I know you are, Barb. Peaceful warrior, one of our elders. I want to say mahalo nui loa. Thank you all. We've been on for a long time. I'm sorry, I went on a roll. I didn't want to go. Sometimes I wish we could just spend the whole day together. This is one of those days. But mahalo nui loa, thank you so much for joining me this morning as we're all able to reflect and honor our spirit, our ancestry, and our resilience and who we are. Ma'ala mopono I kokino, take good care of your body today. Aloha nui, much love to you all. Before we go, there is a community survey that is linked to this video in the comments section. Please do take a moment to fill out this very brief and anonymous survey. It helps us at the HIR Wellness Institute understand how best to serve you, our relatives. Ahui ho aku no. See you later. One love, everyone. Aloha.